Good afternoon, Tomas. It's good to see you again.
Hi, Erin.
So before we start talking about anything, I just want to remind you that I'm a student at the University of Arizona. So this won't be an official counseling session. So because of that, I was wondering if I could get your permission to record the session.
Sure, it's fine.
Thank you so much. So I was looking over your referral just to remind myself of what we want to work on. And you wanted to talk about a life transition that you're going through. So could you explain that a little more to me?
Well, my fiance and I just had a baby,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a little boy.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So I have two other daughters but there's a space in between the birth of our previous daughter, the second daughter, and this little boy. And I feel like in my particular case, the fact that I'm older, it's a little bit more of a challenge. I'm in my 50s, and as he goes into his teenage years, I feel like it would be physically a little bit more challenging for me to be able to be more involved in his life.
Okay.
So I am kind of concerned about that.
So how much time is there between your second daughter and your newborn?
It's about 15 years.
About 15 years, okay.
Mhm.
So that is a long time.
Mhm.
So have you been communicating with your fiance
Yes.
about how you've been feeling with these concerns?
Yes, and she's very supportive about it. And we've been thinking about like what things to do in terms of being healthy, and you know, exercising,
Okay.
and healthy mind,
Okay.
and hopefully, you know, I can make up a good enough plan to be able to be more active in his life as you know he's older, especially when he gets into his teenage years.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you're thinking about these things already and just trying to have that plan ahead of time. Eating well, exercising, and having a healthy mindset, I think those are all going to be really positive things for you to work on. And since you have a supportive relationship, I think you'll be able to work really well on these things to get to where you need to be. Do you feel like you are going to be able to communicate some of these things to your son as he gets older?
Well, my plan is sitting down and having conversations with him as age appropriate.
Okay.
And I do have some concern in regards to having him be picked on by peers and as he goes into school. The fact that I might be older than some of the other dads from the other children.
Okay.
But I will take the time to be able to explain this to him, and how sometimes being older is a good thing, because I bring experience and wisdom, and that's something that's also important in life.
Well, I think maintaining that positivity about yourself will be a really good reflection to him. I also think it's important that you understand different ways that you can approach him about these things at different points in time in his life. And it's really great to hear that you're thinking about how this will affect him as he gets older. Because when you have these things on your mind, then you're able to plan for them and you're able to work on them and try to improve on them. So you have a supportive relationship with your fiance, and you're looking into having some really healthy communication with your son. Have you thought about looking into support in the community for other people who are in a situation like this?
No, that's actually a pretty good idea. Yes, I'll look into that, definitely.
Okay.
I think that they probably have some other ideas that I haven't thought of, and I'll be open to the possibility of
Okay,
kind of
good.
reaching out.
I'm glad to hear that you're open to something like that.
Mhm.
So what I was thinking of doing is talking to you a little more in detail about how we can work on the beginning stages of these changes you want to make to improve this situation and help it to go well over time.
Okay.
So eating well, exercising, and having a healthy mind, what are some of the things that you think you can start working on to have a healthy mind?
I think that practicing, for example, meditation, um, mindfulness, and spending time with him, and I can see that from my fiance's side that she spends time reading the Bible to him. So I think
Okay.
that's interesting, and it kind of gives me a few ideas on what to do from my side, which is probably, telling him some of the more cultural, more traditional stories from Mexico, which is my country of origin.
I really like that. So you're really going to be trying to instill some of the culture that you and your fiance share into his life, and have it have a positive effect on him. That's great. I also like that you are aware of the skills of being mindful and meditation, because self-care is going to be extremely important, as you know from your past experiences with having children, that taking time to care for yourself is the first step to being able to care for others.
Right.
So I think that it's good for you to start with that. And then next week when we talk on Tuesday, why don't you go over with me some of the ways that you've practiced meditation and mindfulness, and we'll talk about how it went, whether it was good or bad for you. So let's talk briefly about exercise. What kind of things are you doing now, and how do you want to improve on it?
Well, I'm kind of concerned because of work. It's been just pretty busy, and the fact that our baby's still a newborn, just turned 4 weeks old, and so he is at that age where he's hungry like every hour, feels like every few minutes. So I used to be pretty good at going to the fitness center and working out, and I was I kind of left that for a while. So I really want to go back and go back to the routine that I had. I think I gained probably in the past 3 months, probably like 10 pounds, which is not good because I have diabetes, in my family.
Okay.
So a few years ago, I was pre-diabetic, so I want to be careful about that.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
So I want to figure out a way if we can work on that to be able to fit my exercise routine back into my schedule.
Yeah, I think that's definitely something that we can talk about. So why don't we think about a first step to take for this week?
Okay.
What can we do maybe to add something brief but very helpful to your day, that maybe will still leave you with enough energy to be paying attention to your son and your life at home?
Okay.
So what do you think is a first step that would be comfortable for you?
Probably taking walks with them, around the neighborhood, and it'll probably help the dog too, to take the dog out for a walk.
I like that. So you'll have the opportunity to continue to spend that time with your family, even though you'll be working a lot, and it'll help you to get that exercise in there too.
Right.
So it'll be nice for you to enjoy that as a group. Okay. So do you think you would be able to do that before you go to work?
Yeah, probably in the mid-morning, early morning.
Okay.
Yeah, I can do that. Probably 15 minutes.
15 minutes? I think that's a good start. So why don't we have you do that, and then we'll talk about it more next week.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Do you feel like there's anything you want to talk about today about eating better? Or do you want to save that for next week and just see how we go with the healthy mind and the exercise right now?
Well, eating, because of my, the predisposition for diabetes is also very important. So if we can spend some time on talking about that too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I've been kind of pretty bad on preparing lunch to bring to work. So I want to somehow figure out a way to fit that in and have it be a part of my routine and bring like healthier meal. Yeah.
So do you and your fiance make meals together or prepare food together on a daily basis?
Not lately because of the baby, but we probably should. Yeah, it'll be probably best for both of us. Yeah.
So can you think about a time of day where it might be doable for you guys to work on that together?
Mm. And I think that's the key word, doing it together, because when she's with the baby by herself and I'm at work, I think it's kind of hard for her. So she has her hands full with the baby to be able to have something, ready
Mm-hmm.
for the evening or for the next day. So I can see that probably after work.
Mm-hmm.
We can spend some time in preparing something for dinner and something for the next day.
Okay.
Yeah.
It might make it a little more comfortable for you and her to be working together so
Yeah.
that you can get it done a little more quickly and you guys are both going to be able to have each other's back with that
Yeah.
nutrition.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think this is something that she wants to work on as well?
I think so. I think she's open to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So good. I'm glad that you guys have that same goal in mind, so that might make it a little easier for you guys to do this together.
Okay.
So it seems like what you're going to try to work on this week is in the evenings preparing some meals together so that she has something accessible, so she doesn't have that strain, and then you'll be able to have something available for work,
Yes.
so you can eat a little healthier. For the exercise in the mornings before work, going on a walk with your fiance and your baby and maybe even your dog and making it a nice bonding opportunity.
Right.
And then for the healthy mind, practicing some meditation and some mindfulness when you can.
Mhm.
Cool. I think that's a really fantastic plan for this week.
Yeah,
How do you
I
feel
like
about it?
I feel really good about it.
Okay.
Yes.
So that is actually going to be the end of the time for our session today. I'd really like it if I could have you fill out this
Yes, absolutely.
survey for me.
Okay.
It's just a rating scale to talk for you to be able to point out anything that you feel like could be done better or how things have gone for you in general.
Sure.
So I'll let you hold on to that so you can do that out in the lobby and have some moments for yourself. There is a place on the receptionist desk just for you to drop it off. So if you don't have any more questions, then I'll see you next Tuesday.
Perfect. See you next week. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.